I'm gonna be playing the intro. Let's have ourselves a game of Dota. Hello and welcome to StarLadder Season 6. It is day number 13. We have got ourselves the fourth game of today. It is DD taking on virtus.pro. virtus.pro, the unbeaten team thus far. DD, the team that has brought Na'Vi to their knees. And we'll see if they can do the same thing to virtus.pro here. Of course, with me here is Vykromond. Welcome back.
Good to be back. We had a little bit of a break there. A little bit of an opportunity actually for VP to take some rest, and they're going with a very similar lineup to the one that they just... So, if I'm VP and I just had a 70-minute game, it's quite interesting that they've decided to go with the same core that gave that 70-minute game. So I guess they're completely comfortable with going long with the Naga Siren again, because they've picked it once again to go up against an early pick Lifestealer. DD, meanwhile, with a fairly standard draft for them, we did see the ban of the Gyrocopter for VP banning it so that Silent can't have it. He's going to be on the Lifestealer. DD take a Bane. They play Bane almost every game. I like both lineups so far.
Yeah, and of course, we have got the scores here as well. I mean, DD so far have dropped one game. They have 9 points to their name. virtus.pro, before today, because I'm not taking in account today's games, they have also dropped no games, so they are on top of the list. And yeah, let's see if they can keep that way. In terms of points, they will keep that way. Obviously, there's no chance that DD with one win will get more points than, 3. But let's see if DD can get ourselves another win to their name. I have to say, once again, also repeating what you already said earlier, these two teams have not faced each other yet in these compositions ever. So
yes,
that will have, I think, a large impact. DD, they were a bit of an unknown team in the Western qualifiers of the International. Well, I say unknown, more like unknown in terms of how they do up against other teams. Everybody knew that they were going to be strong. They didn't know how strong exactly, and it turned out to be very strong.
Exactly. DD were us. They watched the last game. You see the Arsart silencer getting taken out. That's a smart ban. DD were a cipher because nobody was sure if this solid core of French players that had been playing together for a long time would gel effectively with the new star power element of Goblak, who's an incredibly famous Russian draft strategist. Bulba from Team Liquid always talks about how this guy's like one of his idols in terms of strategizing about the game. He's brought so much innovation. He's continuing to innovate in drafts with this team. But nobody was sure, like, will they all bring it together in time for the qualifiers? And they did, and they honestly have sort of leapfrogged to a top-tier team. Frankly, I would say that this game is just, based on the level of both of these teams' performance recently, extremely even.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a huge game. Obviously, even when teams are even, sometimes you still have a blowout, but I'm excited.
Very much so. And of course, I mean, added to that, this is just a best out of one. So no chances, no second chances. This is it. This is their first encounter, and this is the one that will make it count. Like, okay, it's a game between two teams, points, that's great. But this is also something that will be more sort of a bookmark. Like, okay, you know what? When next time these two teams meet, there will be, last time these two teams met, this team took out that team in convincing, not so convincing fashion. So this will be like their key game to start the history of these two teams together, because these two teams will, of course, be facing each other a lot more often than just this one game today.
Absolutely. It's a good opportunity to size up your competition. The last time they played, DD was basically a completely different team. And one of the interesting things about these bans is just how many odd heroes you have to ban in your second
your
ban
microphone. You have to toggle that again, I think.
What?
You have to toggle your microphone inside.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I toggled it off and on again. I don't know why it turned off. DD, they do end up deploying the Outworld Devourer, sorry.
OD.
OD. a hero that they really like and basically almost no other teams play. In fact, the funny thing is the only other team that plays Outworld Devourer with any frequency is virtus.pro. Of course, they wouldn't have picked it up this game. But the nice thing about OD is that he wins lanes. He's so difficult for especially an intelligence hero like Puck to contest in the lane. Once he takes your auto attack damage, your ability to cast, he will win the lane. The trick with OD is translating that lane victory and early mechanism, if indeed they do go with an early mechanism for this game, into later dominance. And that's sort of what DD will have to solve here.
Yeah, we see that virtus.pro, they stick also a bit in the bluish lineup. Let's see if they do that for the last pick as well. I mean, we have had a lot of supports getting banned out by DD, and the question is, do they really want another support or together with a Leshrac? I mean, you already have the Naga Siren net to set it up for that one, so you don't really need your third or secondary support rather. And they could also pick themselves up a jungle hero, knowing that there is a Chen on the other team, just wanting to get themselves some extra gold inside the jungle. They could even put the Darkseer in the jungle and still pick up that Clockwork that we know works wonders against a Lifestealer.
Support, yeah, that's true. Clockwork is definitely still an option for VP. It's not a tremendously characteristic hero for them. They usually... KSI is a very good Darkseer, as we mentioned last game, and he doesn't really play Clockwork. He's more about Furion, Lone Druid. Yeah, I'm not that surprised. They pick up the Rubik for NS. He can steal a lot of useful spells this game, honestly. There's quite a lot, especially Fiend's Grip. Rubik puts Bane in such an uncomfortable position because you either Fiend's Grip the Rubik, in which case you just use your Fiend's Grip on a Rubik, or you use it on someone else and the Rubik steals it.
Yeah, that will be an important thing to note. I mean, yeah, Lifestealer's counter is Bane, so great pickup there. Let's see what DD wants last. They already have got a support and a secondary support. They need an offlane. Clockwork again, I mean, even right now it's still good to have. I mean, up against the Naga Siren, just shutting her out. Let's see if they want that or if they want something else entirely. We have got Magnus completely abandoned this game, by the way. Nobody picked or banned. The same thing, by the way, goes for Nyx Assassin, who hasn't seen the light of day for a while either. But the Magnus could be on the offlane as well. I would kind of like to see some more team fight, because we know that virtus.pro have got this team fight in the form of a Naga Siren, and Puck also bringing quite a bit of it, and not to mention Darkseer. And DD is kind of lacking it. They've got the Hand of God to negate some of the damage that virtus.pro does in the team fight that they have. They've got the Eclipse from the OD, which is just very dependent per hero, so you can't really count on that all too much either. And I would really like to see them picking up something else here that goes in a team fight.
Right, so they have the option now of drafting Clockwork if they really want it, and I don't think that would necessarily be a bad pickup for DD either. They obviously need an offlaner or something to go up in the jungle, and it is DD, so you know you could always see something very, very strange that we aren't expecting. Juggernaut is actually still available, although he would be very awkward to lane. They go with Queen of Pain. Okay, so it's Funzy Quap. This leaves a solo Outworld Devourer, most likely safe lane, and then that means that the Chen is going to have to do some pretty fancy footwork.
It's the other way around. We see that Funzy is actually the Funzy is the OD,
okay.
So Shock's got Queen of Pain.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let's see how they're going to be doing. This is an aggressive trialing with the Chen in the jungle, perhaps in the Radiant jungle. That is, I mean.
Goblek has pooled quite a bit, so you see that he has his 3 Iron Branches, Tango, and then he bought the Courier. But other than that, it looks like he probably, yeah, OD has a little more than you expect him to start with. And pooling OD at the beginning for that mid lane just lets him completely dominate that lane right from level 1. And so I think it's a good idea for them here. It's just something where we have to keep watching DD. It does look like Goblek's actually... We'll keep an eye on this Chen to see whether he goes in the Radiant jungle and tries to disrupt there, or if they actually do something like a one in the jungle, 1-2.
Yeah, because this is a very tough lane to be up against, though. Like, you have got your net, Split Earth, Telekinesis. There's a lot of shutdown coming off from virtus.pro, and this early game for virtus.pro is pretty damn good, to be fair.
I agree completely. One interesting thing is that DD actually pretty rarely puts Silent on this Lifestealer. He hasn't played it that often. Compared to something like Gyrocopter, which VP banned out in the first phase, has much less of an affinity for this hero in terms of enjoying to play it. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that as well. VP, of course, going with a very similar overall lineup. They bring push, they bring late game with the Naga Siren, and of course KSI is just there to be extremely irritating, pick up the items that they need, because Darkseer is a completely item-independent hero. and just generally make you know, good things happen in those team fights.
Yeah, let's see who is playing what. We haven't introduced people yet, so I'll start on virtus.pro. NS will be playing that Rubik once again. KSI on the Darkseer once again. We jump ourselves over to the next one where we see Tamar Wild up on the puck this game with Arsart on his signature Shrek. And the last one once again on the Naga Siren. It is Ilden Stormrage or also
Airman.
known as Airman. Yes. And on the side of DD, it is Silent on the Lifestealer, as you already pointed out. Fucking mad. We'll be playing the Bane this game. Funzy in the mid lane up on the OD. In the jungle, we'll see Godlak. It is the dire jungle that he'll be up against. And, ooh, 62% win rate. That's pretty high. Also, I'm fucking mad on the Bane, actually.
These are two of their absolute favorite heroes. And really cool from VP here, you actually see them, for now, dodging the puck matchup. Darkseer is... I mean, he's going to have a fairly difficult time here as well, but again, he's item independent and he'll still get levels. Whereas Puck absolutely needs to actually get that Blink Dagger and maybe the Arcanes. So they've put Tame My Wild against Sakshka, which is a fine matchup for Puck, and put the Darkseer to suffer against the Outworld Devourer. I like this choice.
Yeah, I like it as well. I mean, we've often seen Queen of Pains up against Pucks in those mid lanes, so we know that this is an even matchup. Of course, slightly now in
First
favor.
blood, they're going for it.
Oh, they're going on the bottom lane. It is fucking mad. The combination is there. First blood goes to NS, but that's the result of having just a split earth hit, apparently. Telekinesis, split earth. And no escape, not even a net needed for virtus.pro. But this is a safe trialing from them with a semi-aggressive dual lane coming out from DD, and they already lose their support here.
Yeah, the nice start for VP. DD knew that they were taking a calculated risk to have these lanes that they set up, and it's causing them a little bit of pain giving up that first blood. You do see Godlak though. He is now fully embedded in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, he rotated. He has also got a troll, and that is of course one of the more influentable. Well, that's actually a Dutch word, awkward. So that's a very good creep to have with the net, maybe able to make a lot happen. But he is already down to half HP, so he's not going to make that much happen anymore. And this is actually Godlak going for the rune, maybe trying to guard it a bit, but with that creep on half HP, I'm not sure how much he can actually do here on this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's not the easiest time in the world because DD does very little for Chen as a rune. The other thing, of course, actually hold that thought because VP are very out of position, but they might be able to make nice split earth.
Nice
from
split earth
Arsart.
up on Godlak, indeed. Godlak taking a lot of damage, and Airman wants to go for him. And Ness already went down, though. That's fucking mad. Still getting a return kill there. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Something that DD can be very happy with, I think. Because it wasn't looking good for them. As there goes the deny on the Chen creep that was still there. In the end, a 1-for-1 trade. I think that's the best that DD could have hoped for there.
And in the end, Airman only has fewer last hits and denies in this lane than Silent, despite how difficult it's been for DD. So I think, yeah, even though they gave another kill to the Naga Siren, they're doing quite well so far, because keep in mind, there's no way that OD loses this lane unless many rotations come over from VP, something that they can't afford to do just yet.
Now, with all the action happening on the bottom lane, you can't lose a hero there. And we actually see Godlak once again going into the Radiant jungle, so even after losing his creep, he goes back in, and he will be able to get another troll here as well, so that will be great to have. Even a centaur there, if he can still get it. Could try to turn this around. Yeah, he takes a centaur, that's a stun. And that's nice. That centaur works out great together with the Bane. You have got your Nightmare to set up for the centaur stun.
Yeah, I agree that it's definitely a good pickup for them. Godlak continuing to put pressure in this lane. I'm just thinking about the fact that DD are doing the right thing. They saw just how huge this Naga Siren got in the last game, and at all costs they're trying to prevent that. And you can't underestimate Lifestealer in these sort of 3v3 lanes. He is so incredibly strong at turning that into an advantage, paired with the fact that Sakshka is doing just fine top. It's more or less an even lane, Puck versus Quap, and he's doing fine in it. And they have the guaranteed win one lane in the mid, just in terms of farm. Darkseer's not, again, going to beat Outworld Devourer.
No, he is keeping up with the levels though, which is quite nice to see. But yeah, in terms of last hits, he is not going to get that. So, top lane a wash, mid lane a win for DD, that is. And it's all going to come down to the bottom lane for virtus.pro here. And of course, for when the puck starts roaming around will make a difference. And how long they can make this game. how long they can delay this game. There goes a Nightmare, Centaur, Stomp, Test of Faith, he runs, he has still got a net if he wants to, and here actually comes support, might go for return kill, Telekinesis up on Silent, he doesn't have a rage anymore, the Entangle hits as well, now he opens up, but it was on a illusion, and Silent on the run, Split Earth once again, up a fucking mad, doesn't have a brain sap, he has to run, and he runs fast, he's gonna eat a tree to get himself out of there as they turn around, want to go for Illidan again, Silent might try to go here for Ines as well, fucking mad will run right into the hands of the Leshrac, but they both go down, Goblack with the Test of Faith, with the kill. 2 for 1 so far, and they will get 3 for 1, that's worth losing a Bane for.
Easily worth it. What a poised fight from DD there, and that's actually an enormous deal because, oh, actually Sakshka hunting Tame My Wild, but an excellent Waning Rift will protect the puck. I have to say that's such an enormous deal for DD. Not only does it secure the lane in some respects, it finishes the phase boots all the way for Silent, which lets him chase Airman and really pressure this lane much more effectively. You can see in the last game, Airman, I think he went Arcane Boots and then later turned them into... what are they called? Boots of Travel. But in this game, he has to go phases. Oh, sorry, I missed that kill up top.
Me too. That was a Dream Coil.
Good
and Queen of
turnaround.
Pain blinking out into her death, it seemed.
Yeah, Tame My Wild just using his mid skills to win that duel. But now he has to, Airman must go phases or risk just dying to the Lifestealer every time. And that's going to put a crimp in the mana available for VP.
Yeah, and the longer, I mean, it delays the game also, or it speeds up the game rather for DD. They need this early aggression. We saw last game what happens if you delay a game for 60 minutes and you're up against the Naga Siren. DD, they're on the right path of not letting that happen, and they're actually going to be opening up on an S here already. The Telekinesis was already done, tries to throw out what he has, but he'll still go down. KSI comes in though, Nightmare is there, Godlike on very low life. Having no mana either, and will actually drop to Airman. Silent now, getting out of position. There's still an Entangle, it will hit. Is there enough damage? There's still a Rage, a Split Earth will not hit, and he tries to run. Is he fast enough with those phase boots? He should be.
Nice.
And definitely also with this Chen Creep helping him out with a net. Chen Creep will take a fall for it, but worth it, saving the life of Silent for it.
Very good net overall. And all of these trades, even if they narrowly favor virtus.pro, are actually good for DD in some respect because it's more space for the Outworld Devourer. Now I want to talk about this OD for a second. In the last 3 months, this hero's win rate is actually nothing special. It's a little better for DD than the general population, and people ban it a lot against DD as well. But one thing about this Outworld Devourer, you might not see his ultimate lot of damage unless he gets amazing farm, because VP have 4 intellect heroes. They've drafted a lineup that's actually not tremendously vulnerable to that huge explosion of the Sanity's Eclipse.
Yeah, very clever. Of course, only Airman will be that target to really blow up then, I guess, as he is the non-intellect hero. But yeah, with the support, he should be able to stay safe long enough anyway, so it's gonna be a good game in terms of that. The question is, how far is he gonna get ahead? Because that's of course something to look out for. If Funzy can get himself ahead of everybody else, he will still be able to do a lot there with his ultimate as well. And the question is, so far, it's not really that... Well, it's going good. I mean, he's highest on net worth, and actually, if they get this kill, which they should, there goes the Eclipse, not doing as much as you mentioned, but the kill is still there. Chen, Goblack with the Test of Faith, getting his 3rd kill in the game. But this is what he needs. He needs to get ahead with these kind of kills to be able to actually still make a difference. Top lane, the Silence is there, Telekinesis is there as well, and that's a kill. And that's 2 kills across the board. 1 for either team.
I would say this, it's about even, honestly. It's still more or less, they each kill each other. But what DD are doing is neutering the ability of virtus.pro to pressure the Outworld in any meaningful way. And because he is rushing Mechanism, an item that doesn't give him damage but just tankiness, he's going to need the next item to really do huge damage in team fights. And they're creating the space for that.
They definitely do. It is 6-6 on a kill score.
Oh wow, it's fight bottom.
Even and Tangle up on Silent. He already opens up on an Illidan already though, but there is the mirror images. Brain Sap is still there. Silent not gonna chase that down. Get Telekinesis, get a Fate Bolt to end it, and here comes Tame My Wild, Hand of God, trying to help out. Not enough to save Silent. And they run. They blink, they flee, and they smoke even. But can't do anything against that. This is 4 heroes of virtus.pro here on this bottom lane. The only one that isn't there is still KSI, who's still in that mid lane, trying to stop that OD from free farming.
This is very nice, actually, play from VP there. One thing you saw coming into play that we mentioned earlier, Sheever, the phase boots on the Naga Siren. With Arcane Boots, she's actually dead there. But with the phase, he's actually able to escape, walk back into the fight. Silent raged pretty early, so you had the opportunity to lock him down and take the win with Tame My Wild. What we see here is that one team has their carry player on their mobile ganking int blaster, and one team has their mid player. Tame My Wild is rotating and getting kills far better than Sakshka is able to. I don't blame Sakshka here. He's only, at the tournament level on DD, he's only played this Queen of Pain twice. They won both games. But you just can't expect him to have the rotation that Tame My Wild is having on this puck.
Yeah,
and it looks like they're going to get a kill
again. Very easy, clean pickoff. Everything you would have expected was there, and support out of position is a dead support. As we do have, I mean, Shogsky, he did now at level 8 pick up his Sonic Wave, so that's him saying like, okay, I'm gonna blow some people up. He didn't pick it up beforehand, but with this he should be able to make something happen. He picks up a DD rune, rotates back top though, maybe trying to take down Tame My Wild first. Tame My Wild is now a level ahead though, so it's not gonna be an easy job for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he can probably escape here. One thing to talk about with... Actually, I'll save it for a bit later. I think VP, after a rocky early game, are stabilizing quite a bit. And they understand, I think, that because the Outworld Devourer isn't going to be able to just blow them out of the water with Sanity's Eclipse, they're not in panic mode yet, right? Like, DD aren't going to just be able to roll over them, and so they can afford to spend some time finishing the Diffusal Blade for Naga. Actually, I don't know if he's going Diffusal, but it looks like it. Finishing the Diffusal for Nagasara.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we saw in the previous game as well. I mean, they were pressured hard early on, but they kept their cool, and they know how to keep their cool. Just to try to stretch out a game, and they do have a lineup to Turtle as well. I mean, they've got that Darkseer, they've got a Puck and a Rubik. Both heroes also pretty neat for split pushing, or for turtling rather. And they have a Leshrac, and even though he's not going for Lightning now, when he goes for Lightning later on, he also will be one of those heroes that is able to just make his team turtle very effectively.
I like the levels in the Diabolic Edict simply because the composite damage will actually damage Lifestealer through his magic immunity. Partially damage him, so that's a good pickup for him. For VP, I think again it's a match in which they have to play safe for a while. Tame My Wild is on a pretty high-risk hero and he plays it in a high-risk way. 5.3 deaths per game is actually pretty high for a mid player, even on a hero like Puck with low HP. But Tame My Wild plays this high-risk, high-reward style with this hero that they can use to sort of try to generate space. He just has to make sure, you know, he doesn't feed.
No pressure. They do take the tier 1 tower mid, and actually you're going to be fighting an entangle, or an ensnare rather. Split Earth there's the Esper Imprisonment helping out a bit, but it's still going to leave Goblek in the midst of a lot of heroes that he doesn't want to be in. Nice disengage song, but this is a disengage indeed from virtus.pro. They're gonna leave DD alive. The mechanism popped by Goblek. He still even had the Hand of God, should it be needed.
And they take a tower for it. So pretty decent trade for VP if they both escape from this, which nice lift! Wow, that reaction time!
And that should be allowing, the TP out.
He could have raged just on spawn, but no, he got immediately picked up, and NS is out of there. No way for Silent to kill him. Nice little trade for VP there. They thought they could go for more, but once they saw the DD rune on Queen of Pain activated, they disengaged smartly. And of course, it is a Naga Siren song, so obligatory boo!
Yeah, well, it was indeed a disengage. The song used to prevent action from happening. Nobody will like that apart from virtus.pro. I actually don't think it was too bad for DD either. I mean, they were kind of out of position. I'm not sure what they would have gotten if that fight actually would have gone on. They probably would have gotten a kill, but maybe have traded a kill of their own. As we see, both teams pressuring the tier 1s. We have got the tier 1 mid now also taken down for virtus.pro on the side of DD. The tier 1 bottom will go down as well. So towers are even after this bottom tower will drop. And it looks like it's not going to be even for long, because virtus.pro, they have 5 heroes with a level 3 edict and no fortification bashing on the tier 2 mid.
Silent is in the back though, he's pincering.
Yeah, he's by himself. There goes an ensnare, and that is him just forced to attack creeps. He's getting a split earth as well, but everybody backs off of virtus.pro, all 5 heroes. And man, look at that group up. Wouldn't you wish you had an RP there? Or a Sonic Wave! Or a Sonic Wave. Oh my god, he almost gets an S. 30 HP left.
Yeah, almost picking up, almost 2 honestly, but Sakshka decided not to pursue, not to go that hyper-aggressive. It's such an annoying match to play Lifestealer in, because the Ensnare Also just you open wound somebody and KSI immediately surges them. Like, I think Silent thought he could at least kill NS, and they don't end up getting him. NS ends up walking away, moving closer to his arcane boots.
Yeah, it's annoying. You have to count on your Funzy and your out OD to create the space for you, and maybe even to wait out the net, but I don't know. Well, I mean, Naga Siren will use the net on Lifestealer every single time, unless she thinks she can get a kill up on Shokska, who's actually had some troubles with Tama Wild there, but the supports came in, so Tama Wild forced to back out. Talking about that, Tama Wild does have his Blink Dagger there, so that will help him out. In terms of net worth, it is very even. OD now ahead, but I mean, there's two of virtus.pro chasing him down as we have.
This is a nice Roshan.
Yep.
They've covered the entire bases as far as the runes go. Sorry, as far as wards. So VP no, but they can't. I don't think they can do it in time. Maybe they can. I don't know.
With the song,
Seems
they
scary.
can. They have the song again, but Airman, he is just not there.
Okay.
He can TP into the tier 2, but it's too late.
Nice job of DD there, just getting it a little bit too quickly, using those Chen creeps. Very smart overall, that Roche sneak that Tamai Wild correctly is playing safe. He's not jumping in for no reason. And as a result, they pretty much give away, but they might get a kill for it.
Oh, they look like they do. Hand of God goes through, but can he blink out? And oh no, he doesn't even try. He does not even try. So that's a pickup for virtus.pro, a good one as well. Shutting down Shokska continuously. I mean, he's not going to be more than much of a... Well, he's not going to be anything more than a utility hero, I feel like. Of course, his spell damage is going to be very important, but there will be, at some point, I expect, maybe BKBs coming off from virtus.pro.
Probably. Leshrac, you can see that it's not just eventually. Arsart on this number 4 Leshrac has already started building towards BKB. He has the Ogre Club. So that'll make Lesh very dangerous against the Outworld Devourer. OD, meanwhile, Funzy just getting levels and stability. He's now going for 4 staff just to give him positioning and tankiness. And VP, they're in pretty dangerous territory here with KSI, but he will TP out unless he gets caught out. He's okay.
Just in time. And I mean, you tipped on an interesting point there, because we know OD can really, you know, blow heroes up if his intellect's really higher than the rest, of course. And we already know that it's not going to do that much up against the 4 intellect heroes of virtus.pro. But the one thing that can counter the entire being of OD is a BKB. So the later this game goes, the less useful Funzy will be. Although if it then makes extra late, you're going to have BKBs at 5 seconds, so he'll be a bit more useful again. But DD, they are the team that I would expect right now to be extra aggressive and try to stop virtus.pro from doing what they're doing and from just, you know, delaying the game, and basically they're able to do what they want to do, and that should not be possible at this moment for DD.
It actually seems to me like VP are seeking less to delay the game out this time and more to just push in, because with this high edict on Leshrac, there's actually not that much that the DD can do except teamfight to deflect VP's push. And if you just look at Airman's completely different item build this game from last game, it reflects this confidence that VP have that they can pressure DD extremely heavily and seize map control in the mid-game.
Yeah, if they take this tower, by the way, they just took down 2 towers without any fight, and there comes the Song, and this is a, well, anti-fight, basically, because Song will allow everybody to TP out. Shokska might be able to do something. They realize he's TPing out, but they can't do anything against that. I mean, even the Lifestealer or anything like that couldn't do anything to stop that TP from happening, so... Yeah, they do take down a large chunk of this tier 2 tower though, and of course take the last tier 1 tower with them as well. There's no tier 1 towers left standing on the map, because also the top one went down on the top lane.
Yeah, I have to say, DD usually regarded as these guys who just out-strategize everyone they face, but so far, VP have been playing their lineup to a T. That doesn't mean they're winning necessarily, at least not yet. They have to seize more map control, and if you look at the graphs, it's still extremely close, but VP's main objective right now is clearing these towers out, and they're doing it.
Yep. They're doing it indeed, and even though, I mean, the Aegis is in the hand of DD still, right? Am I wrong about
Wow,
that?
they're going to the tier 3!
And they know that there's an Aegis up on DD! They're just knowing that the TPs would still be too late.
No, they don't have Song.
They don't have Song. They have a lot of illusions though. And they have now a tier 3 on half HP, which is amazing on its own, and 19 minutes in the game.
they're kind of playing DD like a fiddle right now, just making them move wherever VP want. Now, DD still have an extremely strong lineup, and Funzy has not died. He's now built enough items to be tanky and escapable, so we're now going to see Funzy rotate into, I think, damage. Something like a Scythe of Vice is what I would love to see.
Yeah, as we have the armlet being built up by Silence, so you'll have that for the next fight as well. I mean, they just took down a lot of towers, and basically asked DD, like, okay, you can fight us, or you can, defend your towers, fight us, or we'll take your tower, and they have taken towers. And they've asked that of a team that has still got that Aegis.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much, it's so arrogant, kinda, even.
It's arrogant, but they know that they can escape, and when they have the song, in particular, they get away from DD no matter what. DD lack the lockdown to be able to prevent that song from going off. That's actually kind of why I don't really like this BKB that Sakshka's building. He's building it because he's getting shot down. He's 0-3-0 on Queen of Pain, which is not what you want. But, in my opinion, if they could just lock down Naga at the beginning of a fight, they dominate that fight. And right now, DD keep trying to take fights. It's not like they're not trying. It's just VP escape from everything. And if they could stop that, actually 27 seconds left on song, this could be really bad. Invis-Rune for Funzy.
Yeah, Funzy finds NS, and NS gets blown up by Silence, so that's one dead, but that's the only one that's left here because the Naga Siren was already long gone. Didn't have the song, should she have needed it, so that is that. There is a Yasha up on the Naga Siren.
Sakshka again. I mean, this is why the BKB, but in my opinion, he could correct this with positioning and try to go something a little more scale tipping, but I don't know. It's tough to say. He's much better of a player than I am, so temper any criticisms with the helping of I'm an idiot.
Yeah, of course, I mean, the rest of his team wasn't anywhere close, so kind of surprising to see him still going on the wrong side of the map that much, as we do have a Fiend's Grip up on Illidan. Is there enough damage is the question. Funzy is trying. Yes, there is!
Big
Brain
kill.
Sap, big kill coming off from DD here for fucking mad.
Very nice. And that will close out the Aegis, actually. It will expire in about 5 seconds, actually 0 seconds, there we go. But honestly, DD, even finding the kill on Airman is important. It does keep a little bit of an advantage for the OD net worth versus the Naga. He's at about 8.5k, speeding towards what I think is going to be a quick ult orb for the Scythe of Vice, although there's a lot of options that he can go with other than that.
Yeah, the aggression is still coming off a bit from DD here. I'm kind of happy to see that, as we do have the recipe for the BKB picked up by Sakshka. I mean, he is built pretty far away, though. I mean, look at the net worth. He is lower than the Darks here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually, it's really not looking all too good. We do have the gold difference really minimal still. I mean, it's on 1,500 gold in favor of virtus.pro. But you can contribute that to towers. It is just, I guess it's more evenly spread on virtus.pro than it is on DD in terms of the gold, with Lifestealer and OD just pulling out ahead, but it still worries me a lot.
Absolutely. The fact that Sakshka still hasn't reached his BKB and isn't even that close, versus Arsart on the opposing team, who has a full BKB, meaning that he doesn't need to worry about Outworld Devourer at all. It's a problem. Now, the nice thing is, you've got two other core heroes. Like, they do have a tri-core lineup. Silent has perfectly fine farm, especially considering he was aggressive tri. Funzy's doing extremely well, now building his own BKB, so wow, what a defensive approach by DD. Just trying to outlast that VP push by getting defensive items for all their players.
It's gonna be tough to outlast the Naga Siren, though, as we saw what she could do in the previous game. It's not pretty. But in terms of carry potential, I mean, they do have and the OD and the Lifestealer and the Queen of Pain potentially up against a Naga Siren, and in terms of other semi-carries, they don't really have that many. I mean, you can maybe count the Puck towards that, but that's turning into basically a utility hero mostly then. You can count the Leshrek if he gets more items with his BKB indeed there. He can run around with his Edict and his Nova up. But at some point that will also be, not scaling all that well. So, yeah. Late game, I might actually put it in favor of DD, were it not that the teamfight of virtus.pro is just a bit stronger.
Right. I don't know if I would give it to DD necessarily. They have a lot of scaling available, but the scaling, to take advantage of scaling, you have to have the room to scale. And if VP pressure them heavily and even push in early racks, suddenly there's not enough room on the map for your 3 carries to actually farm. Not carries, but 3 core heroes.
That's true. And of course, on top of that, should they do get farm, or should they get farm, then KSI will be there with his Darkseer wall. And everybody gets copied, and everything that they farmed out works against them.
Yep. Meanwhile, VP actually attempting to catch them out with a smoke gank, but it doesn't work. Again, this defensive posture that I'm talking about. DD, even with a Chen, a hero that you typically seek to push in early with, have really hunkered down trying to finish out some of these defensive items like the BKBs. And Silent right now is going to have a lot on his shoulders to actually deal that huge damage.
It all comes down to team fights, to Roshans, to Aegises. We do have another Roshan in a minute, half a minute rather. So
yep.
That will award a fight, hopefully. Because this game, I mean, we've just seen a game that wasn't as active either. I mean, it was just very long.
It was.
And normally, you know, there were still a lot of movements, a lot of kills on the map. And right now, both teams just playing very defensive. Of course, virtus.pro is happy with the way things are going. I mean, they're still farming up. Illidan, so they're okay with this. DD, they choose to go for this. So neither team really hoping to find fights aggressively if it comes their way. virtus.pro will definitely take it. DD might actually try to back off.
They still have to play defensive at the very least until both BKBs are done. And they're not yet. Again, they've had slow farm. Sakshka is just now after 2 more creep waves finishing that BKB for himself. And Funzy, meanwhile, actually is going faster because, you know, he's had an easier time. He's only about 300 off as well. Yeah. Oh, and if Sakshka gets caught out again, it would be a disaster. He's caught out. He's dead.
That was Queen of Pain, once again, on the same lane. Near tier 2, well, it was a tier 2 anyway, and he buys back. Roshan.
She has to for the Rosh. That means they're contesting Rosh, no question.
Yeah, and that means that virtus.pro is not going in just yet. They will be happy with this buyback, though. They will be very happy with this buyback even, because they're looking for another fight. They blink in, they telekinesis, they find silence before he can rage. The splitter is there in time as well as the ensnare. And that's the send home. No, never mind. That's Lifestealer back to base in a body bag. It's Sakshka that dies as well for the second time. No buyback this time. Godlike. Split Earth. Can't do anything. Will go down as well. Funzy running for his life. And we already have the Bane. He's not even in this fight. He is on the wrong side of the map. He can't do anything for his team. This is Rax.
And this is why they had to play defensive, right? It's because they cannot contest a fight. And at the end, I'm not saying you can lay this all at the feet of Queen of Pain, but you saw him jump in there, use his level 2 ultimate, and virtus.pro, I could almost hear them shrugging through the internet and across the Atlantic Ocean. They just didn't care. There wasn't enough damage coming out from DD, and you see this mid-game oriented approach by VP completely paying off as they take what looks to be 2 sets of Rex because OD is cut out, he has to BKB.
Yeah, and he's trying to go for something in return, but the song is there. Maybe he can get something. He actually forces them out of the base. The song is enough to allow virtus.pro to escape without a scratch. They don't get a second lane of Rax, and that's actually quite a lot. That actually was not something I was expecting. But DD, they hold on.
Yeah, they held on. They saved the second set of Rax. Could have been worse for them. Again, just the fact that VP can get out of all these areas without losing anybody is just, it's crazy, and it reminds you of why everybody hates Naga Siren so much. Actually, I'm actually fond of her. The fact that she has a cool item model, like unit model, goes a long way.
Oh, I thought he misclicked. Fucking mad.
Oh, they're sneaking Roche. This is a last-ditch effort.
Oh,
DD does this a lot. Like, some teams smoke as a last-ditch, DD Roches.
Yeah, virtus.pro, they smoked. They went in. They find Godlike. Godlike might go down, but there's a hand of God. There's a mechanism helping out as well. Open wounds up on the nest, looking for a pickup. A Ghost Scepter helps him stay alive, as we already have got Silent finding him again. There we go. That's the last hit. That's a mega kill for the Leshrek as he picks up the Chen. And it's actually Rubik. He blinked away or something. He blinked away with the Queen of Pain. Like, what am I talking about? Silent still not finding the kill. There he goes. Was about time, but there's already 2 of his team dead, and he'll be the 3rd Queen of Pain. And OD will not be able to defend this. It is a GG. It is an undefeated virtus.pro in StarLadder Season 6. And oh my god, that team fight couldn't have gone worse for them.
No, I'm not going to blame DD because frankly, I think VP played this game incredibly, astoundingly well. What they're doing is really addressing some of the issues that have plagued their team. So if you looked at like the Premier League playoffs, for instance, they would have these lineups that would completely dominate the early game, and then have no push, just no ability to actually close out the game. In this game and in the Navi game, you see them with a short-term game plan and a long-term game plan. They have the push that they can bring to actually close out games. The second thing, My Wild, gotta be the MVP here. He wins the lane, he dominates Sakshka in that 1v1 matchup, and no deaths. I mentioned that on puck, My Wild dies more than most mid players do. No deaths this game, just total everywhere at once. Fantastic play from puck this game.
Yeah, of course Fancy didn't die ever this game either. I mean, he's on the dying team or losing team, but he never died. So that's quite commendable, but he also only was involved in 3 kills. He wasn't able to make something happen for his team, to have that maybe mid-game dominance that they might have been looking for, as we see everybody disconnecting. But, you know, fountain farming is so much fun, so why not? Waiting for the throne to explode. Again, though, strong showing from Virtus.pro. This time a lot shorter game, though.
The one thing is, as a team, one thing that I'm kind of worried about for DD that they may want to address is their propensity for last-ditch Roshan attempts is going to get them punished. So this is maybe the 3rd or 4th time that I've seen DD try to sneak Rosh as, like, this is our last attempt to come back. Usually I praise this because I think it's important to take high-risk things when you're behind, because otherwise how are you going to come back in? But they should vary it up a bit, maybe some high-risk smoke ganks, because if they keep going back to the Roshan well, teams will be like, hey, we're 10k ahead of DD, let's check Roshan, and that's basically what VP did there, and it was successful.
Yep. Any last shoutouts and pluggings? Because this was the last game.
Oh yeah, I gotta do my little shoutout.
Yeah. Have you picked a viewer?
What's up?
Have you picked a viewer?
Yes, I have actually. Today's viewer that I want to give a shout out to is Enlight10ment, because yesterday in the stream he brought up the most random thing that I accidentally set a game with a tournament ticket in which I lost 1v1 mid Zeus versus Meepo, and he was basically the only person I think on Earth that actually saw that. And now my shame is public for all the world to hear. So shoutouts to that guy. Shoutouts to thank you so much for letting me cast with you, Sheever. It's always a pleasure. Shoutouts to the StarLadder administrators and casters for setting up a pretty great tournament. And of course, Season 6, some fantastic games so far, especially that last one. Shoutouts to all the viewers, Dota TV, Twitch chat. We really appreciate you guys watching these games with us. And you can check me out, VYKROMOND. I have a website, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. Peace.
Okay, I want to just give a major shout out to you, because you didn't only co-cast. I saw someone in the chat asking, who does all those boxes that keep coming up? Or he asked it differently. Shout out to that guy, by the way. I have no idea what his name was because I don't check the names. But that was you! Multitasking all the way, co-casting while being able to pump out extra stats for people to watch. And I'm impressed. I shout out to you, so I tip my hat if I would have one. And of course, well, shout out to my sister for bringing me Dominoes, I guess, who is playing Dota right now on a laptop via my wireless.
It's really a shout out to Valve though for putting that system in, so that even people like us who don't have a full-time
that's very true as well.
Can put in stats. It's a really cool system. You have to make it downscale on lower resolutions, Valve, because it covers like half the screen on 720. But other than that, love you guys. Thank you for making this awesome game.
Yeah, I wish I could do those things before, well, actually, on my own. If I would cast on my own, and I could do that as well, but I can't really. Because you have to have a co-caster with that. Anyways, we are going to be jumping ourselves out of this game. This was the last game for StarLadder Season 6 for today. We'll have more tomorrow. Tomorrow, they actually start at 1800, so 6 p.m. CST time. We'll have Mouse versus Virtus.pro, then Virtus.pro versus Power Rangers, and then Power Rangers versus OSG. But there is a 1 hour break in between those games, so we'll see how that's going to go, if there's going to be some changes there. So anyways, stick around for watching some commercials to support me as well, if you want to. Of course, my website, SheeverGaming.com. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me on Twitter. All the same name, all under SheeverGaming. So do that. And yeah, hope to see you guys tomorrow. I might be playing some matchmakings actually right now. We'll see what's going on. Anyways, thank you for watching. And yeah, we're back.